Do you interrupt family dinners by asking the question, what's better, Batman or Diet Coke? Then crack open a sody pop, get settled in, and find out where this podcast is going, because this is the show for you. I'm Mark Ives.
I'm Cody Hansen.
And I'm Zach Walker.
And you're listening to Apples to Orangutans.
We're in the thick of it. We're good, Grace?
We're
Everyone?
in the thick of it all.
We're good.
Okay. So you want me to do the welcome?
Should we get started? Let's get started.
Okay. And I'm not going to introduce myself because that just happened. Or the name of the podcast. I'm just gonna say, hey, welcome back.
Yeah.
This is what we're doing.
Yeah, we can just start
Okay.
casually.
Welcome back, you guys.
What's going
and
on?
you, the viewer at home, and of course, Grace Stewart, our producer off camera.
Most importantly.
Zach, I thought we'd start with a question for you. Have you heard of this thing called March Madness?
I have. I like March Madness.
You've heard of it.
I do. Yeah, I have.
It's just I'm sort of a.
I'm sorry for not answering exactly.
The thing is, I'm sort of like a basketball fan.
Okay.
And so I don't know what like everyone else knows about basketball.
Sure. You're so much of a fan that you have no
Heard-
awareness
yeah,
of
I've
others.
never watched it. I'd have never watched, but I've heard of it.
Yeah.
And
Okay.
so there's this thing they use in March Madness. They do sort of like a head-to-head matchup system.
Yeah, a tournament bracket.
And the winner of the match goes on to play the winner of a different match.
Yeah, the basis of this podcast
and
that
it
we
narrows
developed
it down
together.
to one, the best team.
Yeah.
The best team wins.
Yeah.
Often they win.
Yes. I told you I watch March Madness.
And so, Zach,
every year.
the bracket style tournament system determines who the best team is.
Yeah.
And we took that format that was invented by March Madness.
Why are you explaining this to me?
And we applied it to everything. Okay, it could be like a cup of water or like a glass of milk.
You're so excited about the two liquids. Also, that's not a good example.
It could be like a Kool-Aid or a soda pop.
Get away from liquids.
Okay? And we compare them.
No.
And we determine what the best thing is out of anything.
Yeah,
out of anything.
Okay, name.
And it could be juice.
No, stop.
It could be Monster Energy.
Name something that's not a liquid. I just want to see if you can. Not even for the podcast. Just say something that's not a liquid.
Mercury.
It's still a liquid.
It's still a liquid,
yeah, it is.
It's not a beverage.
It's close. It's close to not a liquid. Ice. Good.
I was not ready for that intro at all.
So that's what we're doing here today.
Yeah. We're comparing things that can't usually be compared. So Mark's explanation was bad. We're not going to be...
Put Mark's explanation on the bracket.
Yeah,
and we'll see
we
how
will.
far it gets.
We will.
We have a list of 95 things, and we're going to use a random number generator to figure out what we're going to compare.
Yeah.
Should I just...
Let's get into it before Mark names
We're
limits.
really good at this now. All right, 1 through 95 options. We eliminated the ones from the last show. The first roll of the dice is number 38.
Number 38?
And
that's great.
Diet Coke.
That is so awesome.
Okay, all right. Diet Coke versus Batman. Oh, God.
I can't believe you pulled Diet Coke as number 1. That's so awesome.
Well, we have a front runner for the top 10 pretty early, folks.
All right. 2 actually great things. Diet Coke and Batman.
Yeah. And so we get straight into the first.
We're just going to compare
away.
the first 2 right away, and we'll choose what is better between these 2 things.
Yeah.
Okay.
I don't like Diet Coke.
That's so funny because I hate Diet Coke.
Oh, I forgot.
Oh, yeah.
Nice.
Thank
Very
you.
good.
Diet Coke, I am a bit of a baby boy, as in because I don't drink any caffeine whatsoever, so I don't have a lot of Coke or soda knowledge other than like mug root beer.
Yeah.
But is that your favorite root beer?
My favorite root beer. No, my favorite root beer is probably I like 1919 is good in the glass
Yeah.
bottle.
A&W.
NW solid.
Of the main line brands, I'm a Barks guy. I love a Barks root beer.
Barks is caffeinated, I believe.
Yeah. That's kind of, I think why I like
It gives you a little zip.
What's
because
the
I don't
one-
drink like coffee, so if I
Mhm.
need energy,
You
and it's like
Killabrew.
later in the day.
That's the best one.
Killabrew's probably the best.
A little twins, little twins game.
or the drive-in.
Killabrew
classic.
has a hint of cream. I
Yeah,
feel whenever
it
I
is.
drink
It's
it.
a little
Yeah.
thicker.
That being
It's not-
said,
it's a solid.
oddly enough, root beer isn't on the bracket.
Yeah.
It's not.
Unfortunately,
Diet
it's
Coke-
Diet
Diet
Coke.
Coke.
I've
Yeah.
tried regular Coke. It's awesome. I love the taste of cola.
Coke or Pepsi? Let me.
I like how you said you tried regular Coke. Like it's this fun exotic thing. I've had a sip before.
I dipped my toe in.
Yeah.
It's the taste of cola is amazing. I'm
Yeah.
just not a soda guy, so I don't drink it hardly ever. I taste it. One of my best friends, his name is Will. Shout out Will. Designed a bunch of stuff for this podcast. Super fun.
Epic.
He loves Diet Coke and smashes them every day. And I tried some of his, and it just wasn't that good.
Maybe
it
it's
had a
just his.
weird, like sweet, like lightly sweet flavor. I don't know. I didn't like it.
Diet Coke's shockingly bad. I don't like it.
Coke or Pepsi?
So this is a fun fact. There are tons of psychological studies that show in a blindfolded test you are not able to distinguish the two. And this is a test I ran when I was in Fairbanks, Alaska. We had like students coming through, and we had them do a blindfolded Coke or Pepsi test, and we could never get a statistically significant amount of them to get it right a statistically significant amount of the time.
Yeah.
So like
I believe
almost no
that.
one was able to do it. And when they did, like if you continued with it, they couldn't get it later.
It's all about who has better marketing at the end of
It
the
is.
day.
But they
It
both
is.
have like I feel like I don't know about the Pepsi army. Diet Coke has an army of people. Like
It does.
most of the people at my office are on the
Yeah.
Diet Coke army. Like Coke or
Yeah.
Pepsi, if they're asked, like if
Yeah.
they don't have Coke, no.
Well,
it's a no-
I
it's a no
definitely
deal.
think because I definitely think the taste of diet versus not diet is way bigger
Yeah,
than the
yeah,
difference between Coke and Pepsi.
Oh yeah,
Diet Coke, I do not like it.
yeah. Cody, what do you think about Diet Coke?
I think
itself?
Batman's badass. Is what
Yeah.
I think.
Yeah,
Batman is awesome.
he's a high tier thing
I just-
that could be on.
I
the
think
list
solely
for
because
sure.
of that, whatever opinion I have related to
Yeah.
Diet Coke is insignificant.
And
I've never really chosen to drink Diet Coke.
Mhm.
But you
know?
have chosen to observe
to wear a Batman suit.
yeah.
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 Batman is very good. Also, diet soda in general is bad. It's bad for
I
you.
agree.
Just drink regular sugar because
Yeah, and
Diet Coke
I'm
has
also
like
not a soda
weird
person.
chemicals in it.
Right.
Not it. Batman, great. The new Batman movie is going to be
It looks
amazing.
great. It looks
Matt
very good.
Reeves, director of the new Planet of the Apes trilogy, my favorite
my
trilogy
gosh.
of all time.
Great films.
It's going to be great. Some of the best villains of all time are in the Batman universe.
Yeah.
yeah, it's true.
And they pump
Do you
out
have a
so much
favorite
movies.
Batman villain?
I haven't explored the Batman universe enough to decide. I love Joker. Joker's great. I feel like I
Yeah.
might like the Riddler.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I feel like he would be cool.
Oh, and
I'm
who's-
interested in
who's mine?
Scarecrow. Yeah, what's yours?
Thanks for asking. Mine's Clayface because he can turn into a liquid.
You love liquids. I've never heard of Clayface.
He's
Neither
a
have I.
man made of clay,
Oh.
and so he can transform himself to look
His
like
whole body's made of clay.
his whole body's made of clay, and
Why-
he can transform himself to look like different people. They never explain how he can change his color to like perfectly resemble a human when you're made of clay. But more important than that, he can turn into a liquid.
What?
I love that. Is there
That's
a
a great-
plane going
Yeah,
over or a
what was-
helicopter?
Someone's mowing their lawn
Yeah.
at night.
The Tang Cave is being invaded.
It is. So we can all vote
yeah.
unanimously for Batman
Yeah.
over
Yeah.
the
Batman.
joke that is
I've
Diet
never
Coke.
chosen to drink Diet Coke.
No, I
Yeah.
never will.
It removes rust. That's the only good thing. And I don't think that's good
that
for your
true?
body. Yeah, you ever see those? You ever see
That
that?
can't be good
They
for your
pour
body.
like Coke on the back of like a truck, and they like grab sandpaper and just remove all of the rust off of it.
that's,
news.
that's
or
not it.
Mentos, you know, like just a random mint candy in
To
like
make
a
it
Coke, and you
explode.
shake it and it
Boom.
explodes.
because it's basically 80% C4.
Yeah, Mentos is a bomb.
All right, that one was easy. Okay,
Yeah,
so Batman moves on.
It was a blowout of a round.
The next one is 82, a robust welfare state
okay.
Good. That's great to have.
versus becoming too old to go trick or treating.
Interesting.
Terribly depressing things.
Explain a robust welfare state and what it
robust
is.
actually explain that.
welfare state is a government that is capable of providing a social safety net to its citizens in the form of like health care and food stamps and even education can be seen as part of the welfare
That
state.
seems unbeatable. That seems really good.
Well, Zach, you have to consider there is an entire faction of the American political system that is completely geared towards dismantling the welfare state.
Oh,
So to a lot of people, it's their
That's true.
least favorite thing.
yes.
You know?
I love it. I think it would be a great change.
Have you heard of this guy called Elon Musk?
I have. He works harder than all of us.
He works harder than all of us. And don't you think
memes
he
harder.
deserves, just to be a little comfortable
Yeah.
for the hours he puts in at the
Yeah.
lab?
And yeah, he needs that comfort.
Yeah. And you would make him a pauper by trying to fund the welfare
I would.
state.
I would.
He would be a homeless man.
Yeah. Yeah.
If we were to
exactly.
tax him at a
He only has like 240 billion
Yeah.
right now is where he's at.
Yeah.
Is he's number one,
That's
right?
something I want to Google.
he's saving up. Yeah, he's saving up.
Yeah, he's saving up. He's
Yeah.
saving up for a rainy day. And don't we all do that?
Yeah.
Cody,
do.
have
Yeah,
you ever
I've-
saved up for a rainy day?
Yeah, I've saved my
You know,
$240 billion.
when you got to bring your dog to the vet,
Right.
when you have to stock up on groceries because the roads are going to be a little slick.
Yeah, in the
You know,
winter
if
when your heat goes up.
Yeah, if Elon has to pay a little bit more, he's not going to be able to survive, frankly. And
true.
if he doesn't do well, I don't do well.
When I was looking up how much money does Elon Musk have, all of like the top searchable things were how much does he make a minute and a second, and somebody has recorded that he makes $211 every second.
See, and that's why we can't send our kids to
That's
school.
crazy.
Yeah.
Because we need him to be making $211 a
Yeah,
second.
he works harder than all of us.
Yeah.
Let's talk about trick or treating.
Yeah, and when are you too old to go trick or treating?
That's a great question.
I wish
that
there
seems
wasn't an
variable.
age.
Yeah,
I wish there wasn't a cutoff.
Is there an adult version of trick or treating out
I
there?
mean, just going
into
to
today's society?
Clubbing?
going to parties.
Yeah.
Because
Just-
free food is provided there. It's sort of like going to
But
a
you're not.
door.
I guess yeah. You
It's
still
like
dress
miniature
up.
weenies at the party.
Mhm.
Did you guys dress up this year for Halloween?
Yes, I did.
I did not.
I dressed up as a minion from Despicable Me.
Is that true?
I did.
I think
Epic.
I asked
My
you
girlfriend Mary dressed up as Gru.
that. Oh,
That's sick.
I was
That's awesome.
I was Kevin or Stuart. No, wrong. I was Bob or Stuart. Kevin has one eye,
It does.
and my hat had
I'm not a minion guy.
2 eyes. You're not a minion guy at
No.
all.
Yeah, or really Despicable Me. In
It's what I
general.
live for.
Yeah, yeah. We're gonna have we have minions on here a few times, I think. So we're gonna have some trouble. But
half
trick or
that.
treating,
3 times.
trick or treating. When I was younger, it was one of the best things ever. My parents would always drive behind me and my friends in Baldwin, Wisconsin, which is not
Right,
a
it's
dangerous
terribly
town.
dangerous area.
But when we would go and they would just like drive, it was a great time. We'd go to like the one haunted house in our neighborhood, get some canned. It was great. And when I turned too old, it was never like a cutoff of, oh, I'm 14, I can't do it. I think it was kind of just a gradual, like my friends kind of fell out of it. So it was more of like a peer pressure thing of like, I guess I won't go this year. And maybe it was the
Yeah.
first year that like one of my friends like had a Halloween party or something. So we just like went and watched Casper and ate snacks. And I'm like, this sounds better.
So you don't have a solid memory of like the 1st
Mm-mm.
year you stopped.
No, I do not.
Because I wrote this. I wrote this one. And I wrote it because I have a distinct memory of the first year I didn't go trick or treating. My parents asked me like, "Oh, are you gonna go trick or treating this year?" And I was just like, I guess not. And I think I don't know my age exactly. I was probably in like later elementary, like 5th or 4th grade.
Whoa.
Yeah, I
Um,
went trick or treating like probably late middle school.
Really?
Mhm.
Yeah,
I went
I
too.
did. I
was, like,
I
pretty
remember
old.
quitting early, and I remember being like, I guess that's a thing kids do, and I didn't do it. And then we went to Green Mill that night,
Oh,
and Greenmill's great, But I just remember because I quit when I was in a sort of a zone of like, too old to trick or treat. And I probably wasn't at the time. But in my mind, I was like, I'm too old to trick or treat, but I'm too young to go to like a Halloween party. And so I had dinner.
And that's where Green Mill comes in.
And so I just went to dinner with my parents. And I was like, oh, is this my future? This isn't fun. This ruined the holiday. And this might be a microcosm of this.
This
is
deep.
A subsection of this is I remember like the first year I didn't go trick or treating. I got to the end of the year and I was like, oh, I didn't watch any. And maybe it was even later on, but I realized there was a year when I was like, I didn't watch any of the Halloween programming on television because they used to run for the month of October. Every single show they would either be showing the movie Halloween Town, or
so good,
or Twitches, or it would be like a Halloween episode of a cartoon, and you get these fun Halloween ads, and I really enjoyed that as a young child. And then
Charlie Brown and the Great Pumpkin.
Charlie Brown and the Great Pumpkin.
That's
I got to the end, and I was like, I didn't see it.
Is big.
It's a big pumpkin. So you quit early.
I did.
Yeah,
I did quit early.
So if you were to pick between
Wow.
It was a
tectonic shift in your life.
It was because I love Halloween might be my favorite holiday.
Really?
I think there's a lot of people who are like Christmas people. They love Christmas. Yeah. I think spooky things. I think spooky things is fun and like being scared is fun and it's not something we really get to practice a ton. I think candy tastes good. I think getting to dress up is fun.
Candy does.
I think there's just a lot of fun elements to it.
The spooky things, the spooky experiences are my favorite. I love going to like haunted trails.
Yeah.
I hate that stuff.
Really?
That stuff is
so fun.
So not for me.
I'm not into like.
I hate being spooked, like walking around and someone coming up behind me and just going, ah! You know,
that's so fun. Especially like you're with your friends, you're all jacked up.
Yeah.
And you're getting scared.
Just is not. No.
You're on Diet Coke. You've pounded 8 cans. I feel like maybe for some people who like as kids hated trick-or-treating and their friends would be like, why aren't you coming?
Did people hate trick-or-treating?
Yeah. I feel like there's some people that didn't like it.
I couldn't imagine it. I couldn't imagine hating trick-or-treating.
I don't know.
So fun.
So maybe for those people, they'll be mad, but I don't see why.
What was your favorite Halloween costume you've ever dressed as?
My favorite Halloween costume I've ever dressed as?
Think back.
I was a werewolf once.
Okay.
In real life.
Yeah.
As a costume in elementary school. And we did a parade where every elementary schooler walked around the whole school and everybody's parents came and took pictures. Right. It was really fun.
Right.
And I wore this like really intense werewolf costume that my parents got me. It had like a like this rubber face with
Chewbacca
like
face.
It was like realistic and scary and like these sharp teeth and these gloves with claws. Insanely hot. I was sweating so much under there.
I can't breathe.
Yeah, I can't breathe.
The
chin kills. It killed. But I remember that being pretty epic. What about you guys?
Spider-Man.
Epic.
For sure.
Not Batman.
And I had like these extra pads and stuff. And
so it made
I
you
just
look
like
ripped.
tackled everybody all day long. Yeah. No, I just felt like just none of the pain. In our elementary school, they're like for Halloween, they did this like really cool event where they put like big like blow up houses, like balloon houses and stuff. And they're like I got to run through that in my like Spider-Man costume.
Oh man, you must have
it was
fallen
like they
top
had
of the
like
freaking world.
Those race ones, you know, where there's like a person on each side.
Oh,
and
I
you're trying to
remember
race that
those.
person. Yeah. And I was dressed as Spider-Man through that.
Wow.
So like felt like Assassin's Creed.
Yeah.
I was that, you know.
Do you have a similar experience feeling like Assassin's Creed?
Yeah, I really do. When I was in the second to last time I was in a bouncy castle. I was racing Mark after a volleyball game.
What?
Yes, this was after Mark's
sophomore
girlfriend.
year of college.
Yep, sophomore year of college.
Okay.
Mark's girlfriend Riley had just won a big volleyball game against our rivals, and we were going to go out to Flameburger. And Mark and I were walking back to our dorm, and we saw one of those big blow up.
It was homecoming.
Yeah, homecoming. One of those big blow up inflatable obstacle courses.
Yeah,
and we're like, we got to do that.
Epic.
And they were about to close, so we ran up and we're like, can we do this? And you're like, yeah, go. Take our shoes off, and we're both like gunning for each other. I needed to beat Mark. I needed to. He needed to beat me. And we went for it, and there was went through some inflatable obstacles, and there was one that were 3 horizontal inflatable bars over each other in a triangle pattern. And I knew Mark was going to wuss out and go through them, but I knew that I could be Assassin's Creed and go over them. So I go over them, and my shoulder pops out of its socket. Has never happened before. It was my left shoulder. I had broken that arm twice, but nothing has ever happened with the shoulder. Shoulder pops out of its socket, horrible pain. I flip over onto the ground and go, ow, 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 ow. And Mark's like, are you okay? Are you hurt? I was hurt, went out of the inflatable obstacle course, called an ambulance. An ambulance picked me up, took way too long to give pain medication. It was the worst pain I've ever felt in my life. Ended up tearing ligaments in my shoulder, had surgery, was in a sling for like 6 months.
No.
And it was horrible.
How do I not?
I think
know
it cost
that?
my
I led-
parents like $7,000 or something.
Yeah, well,
led
it's
into
interesting
that.
you bring that up because to go back to the bracket, you know what could have saved them $7,000?
A robust welfare state. And that's what we're going with, right, guys?
So I think we have to send it forward.
Amazing. I had no idea that was a story between you two when I brought that up.
And then a year later, on the day, we raced again, and I smoked him.
I let him
Of course
win.
you win.
I want this to be known. I mean, what am I going to do? Push this guy to his limits? I mean, last time he lost an arm. What? This time he's going to lose his soul. He's going to the shadow
He's
realm.
going to break my neck.
die for this. All right, I'm going to generate the next number. 32. Sand. No. The World Series of Poker.
Ooh.
An
good
event
one.
I've never watched.
Did I write this one?
I did.
You did. Okay,
Yes.
good. You're right at the threshold of the ones that each other
We've
wrote.
never gotten one of yours.
I know.
Good.
82 again.
82.
We already did that one, I think.
Oh, yeah, that was the robust welfare state.
Yeah.
Good. Oh, 64. Okay. This one is interspecies animal friendships.
Okay, those
Yeah.
are very fun. This is a heater.
All right, what do we know about poker?
A lot.
I played poker for the first time, really. I played like a hand or two previously. I played poker for the first time, really, this summer with high schoolers who were going
Nice.
through the mission program in Fairbanks, Alaska. And I absolutely smoked them. I won. There were like 7 of us at the table, and I won like 50% of the hands.
$1 billion.
Wow.
We were using candy as chips.
Okay, that's super fun.
And I was I had a pile.
Yeah.
You know.
Were you playing just Texas Hold'em? Were you playing Dealer's Choice? What games were you
I
playing?
believe it was Texas Hold'em.
Just Texas
Yeah,
Hold'em
that's the only
straight
one
up?
I know.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I grew up playing poker. My
Oh,
dad
you
taught
did.
me. Yes, my dad taught me from a very young age, and he'd always joke that I could. This is so I could hustle people in college.
Right.
But it was a big part of my
And you
family.
did.
We played it like every family event, after dinner, every holiday, every year at deer camp. We'd play. So I've played many, many, many hands of poker.
Have you ever watched the World Series of poker?
I have, and it was.
Okay.
It's always during like nights where I would stay up later than I usually did, and my dad was still up, and we would just like flip through the channels and it would be on. And it's like very mindless TV that it's just like the same thing happening.
It's just math happening.
Yeah. It's like it's oddly entertaining. It's oddly
Right, I agree.
soothing. It's like the same thing happening with like small variations, and you're just sitting there and you're watching it happen. You're watching like people accumulate chips, and they only do Texas Hold'em. So there's no variation in the games.
Yeah.
So it should be the most boring thing ever. But I think in my heart, it means a lot because it reminds me of like times hanging out with my dad and just chilling out, not thinking about anything else. Also, whenever my
Right.
dad and I go to the Boundary Waters, we stay at the same hotel, and usually the World Series of Poker is on the night before we portage in, and we watch that. So
Good stuff.
it's just chill. It's a very chill time.
yeah.
That's what I have to say about WSP.
I've seen it on TV. Yeah, I've seen it on TV.
My dad watches it semi-frequently.
Okay.
But I have never stayed to watch it for more than 20 minutes.
I'd be interested to talk to somebody who's like
they-
really into it. Like,
Do they play with real money
Oh,
in the
yeah.
World Series poker? Like that is, they are gambling.
well, the
It's not
how the
funny
World
money.
Series of Poker works is they all pay a big entry fee, and then there's a ton of tables ton of tables, and they play a bunch of rounds.
Really?
Okay.
They play
And
with their own money.
Yeah.
Well, they don't.
Oh.
They're not playing with their own money.
Yeah.
But they will.
But they pay a big entry
They
fee.
pay
So
a big entry
functionally,
fee.
That's
Yes.
interesting because that's like the only sport that would happen.
Right.
Like at a Smash tournament,
Mhm.
you know, you're not paying a ridiculous fee.
Right.
Yeah,
to
well,
get
it's
in.
yeah,
in
it's
any
the,
sport, you are paying like some sort of like operational thing.
Yeah, and
Like,
if you
equipment.
win the World Series of Poker, you get like $5 million.
I guess it's just the
Wow.
idea that if you lose like early on in the tournament, like the idea
Yeah.
that you're like out a significant
Right,
amount of
right,
money
true.
to me is kind of crazy.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it's.
that's
I'm not sure exactly how much they put in, but I think you can probably get in at like different levels or something. But it's kind of like Survivor, where it's not just the winner that gets a ton of money.
Mhm.
Like if you get 10th place,
Right.
you'll still get like
There's a reward,
$100,000 or
yeah.
something. But you play. There's a ton of different tables. The winners of each little table goes on to the next round of tables, kind of in a little tournament style. And then at the end, the one they usually air is the World Series of Poker final table. And it's like the best poker players in the
Yeah.
nation. And they're all going at each other. And they go until you're only out when you lose all your money.
And they all look cool.
They
got,
all
like,
do look cool.
They got like
Yeah, they got
sunglasses,
sunglasses.
and hats on, and
Yeah.
coats. Like
It's
they
a
look
pretty-
like they've
yeah,
won.
It is a
poker.
very cool, chill sport.
yeah. Like
Yeah.
I'd like to hang out
And
with
my
those
personal
guys.
hero, Boston Rob, plays poker.
Really?
So yeah,
Professionally?
So that's huge. He did for a bit.
Or like big time?
Mhm. He did for a bit.
Wow.
Interesting.
So I'm fond of it. It's going up against interspecies animal relationships, right?
Yeah,
and
and
that's
friendships.
Friendships. That's a good one.
which is positive.
Cody, do
What
you
do
have
you
a
guys
favorite
think? Yeah.
interspecies animal friendship? That is.
I mean, it's a common. I've had cats and dogs in my house simultaneously. So I mean, really, that's the only thing that like I think about. But when I've seen cute photos online
Yeah.
of like other
Of like a
animals,
walrus and a tick.
That's a huge friendship.
Yeah.
that's very helpful.
Yeah.
There's a name for that.
A parasitic relationship.
Yeah, it's a walrus and like 1,000 ticks.
Yeah.
It's great. It's very cute.
Because like I don't know if this is like hugely famous, but I remember growing up there's a children's book about a tortoise and a hippo that were friends in a zoo. The hippo was orphaned from like a tsunami, and so they brought it to a zoo. And I believe hippos are like their parentage. They require a lot of parenting attention as youth, and so they had the hippo. They didn't have any hippos at the zoo. They gave it to a turtle to sort of imprint on. Like the turtle calms it down.
Really? I feel like if somebody asked me what the best animal parents would be, a tortoise wouldn't be my guess.
Yeah.
They seem just like,
They don't care.
yeah,
Absent.
there'd be a lot of
Absent.
neglect going
Right.
on, and not like intentional neglect, but just like you forget that they
Yeah.
would forget about that a hippo is
They're
there.
tired, man. They look
They're tired. They're like
always.
300 years old.
That's a long
I guess
time
the
to
thing
live.
is most animal relationships end in one of the animals getting killed by the other animal.
True.
And that's not something to worry about when the tortoise is the parent. The tortoise isn't going to kill the hippo.
the hippo might kill the tortoise.
It might, but it didn't. And that's why it's a
It
remarkable
didn't in
tale
the
of
children's book
friendship.
that you
No,
read.
this is real.
Oh,
This is real,
okay.
but it's like it's a famous nonfiction children's book.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay.
Yeah,
There's like
yeah.
a bunch of Disney movies about animals being good friends.
Milo and Otis, even.
Yes.
It's about a pug and a cat,
and
and they hang out.
Zootopia. That's
True. That's not what I was imagining. I guess
We're talking real
I
animals.
was thinking
No.
real, but that counts. I suppose.
What about Finding Nemo?
True. I guess we could name
counts.
every Disney.
That's a
movie.
part of that. That has to
Yeah.
be a part of this.
I guess
Because the
You're
fish.
gonna tell me you care about the World Series of Poker over Nemo?
I don't personally. But
I feel like a classic one is like a deer and something.
Yeah. A deer and a bird.
Like a deer. I don't know. Maybe
Like a
a
blue
deer and a
jay.
bunny. A deer and a dog. The
What is
deer
this?
and the
is this
deer.
a bit?
No, I feel like when I think of interspecies animal relationships, I think of a deer.
weird that you think of that.
I don't know.
But
I mean,
not another thing. You just think of deer.
I think of a deer and then something smaller than a deer.
Of course.
So
you're thinking of Bambi,
like
the
a
fictional
dog.
character.
No.
Yeah.
Does Bambi have a friend in
rabbit.
that movie? A rabbit?
Rabbit.
Maybe I'm thinking of that.
Yeah.
But in real life.
Yeah. Or as long as we're on the Disney train, Fox and the Hound.
Right. That was. I think that's what
a
I was
great
originally
movie.
thinking about.
I love
Fox and the Hound. All right. Oh,
I don't
yeah.
think about like. I wish interspecies animal relationships were more prevalent, and I could see them in the wild. That would be cool.
That's
like an
true.
elephant.
That would be awesome. If
a
I saw a deer hanging out with something smaller than it in the wild, just like chumming around with a bunny.
Yeah. Playing cards.
It would be being on the world, being at the final
Playing
table
poker together.
Drinking some Diet Coke
Yeah.
together. Derusting their car.
World Series of Poker unlocks something inside of me that is very calming.
Amazing.
My vote goes to World Series of Poker.
World Series of Poker.
Having no affections towards the World Series of Poker, I have to vote for animal friendships because I think they give me hope for humanity. And I hope to be Bigfoot's friend one day.
What is the tortoise one? The one
That's
you
the
think
one I
of?
think of.
Okay.
It's certainly the one I think of. I think that's the most famous. Based off your reactions, maybe it's not as famous as I thought it was.
It's not as famous as a deer and something smaller.
Of course. But I'm voting for.
I have
animal
a feeling this
friendship.
Cody,
one's
you're the
not,
tying
I
vote.
know. I'm not a tying vote, but I'm feeling like this one's not a super hotly contested back and forth, right? So I am still like kind of open. So I guess I'm willing to hear like one argument from each.
You want our best pitch.
The best pitch, because like for me, I'm just thinking of amazing Disney movies or the times that I was also up north and poker was on
So
TV.
are you not? Are you not compelled by real animal friendships?
Not really. It doesn't happen a lot.
Poker's
I
real,
mean, dogs
baby.
and cats. And I guess whatever else you have in your house, you know.
Yeah.
I mean, it doesn't happen in the wild. Do we?
World
Are
Series
you
of
in the
Poker?
wild hanging out with like a lot of animals and you're just like, pff, like all these deers only hang out with other deer?
Yeah, they hang out with each other. Yeah, deer hang with deer.
Yeah.
Right.
But you want to see it live. You want to see a live interspecies animal
I
friendship.
feel like the merits of both of these come from coming upon them unexpected. So you're like, if you come upon an interspecies animal relationship and you're not expecting to do so, it's an incredible experience. Same with the World Series of Poker. If you're flipping through the channels, just looking for something to watch up north, something to chill out, and the World Series of Poker comes on, you know you're in for a great time. You know you're in for a chill time.
I'm gonna vote for the World Series of Poker.
Yes.
It's wild. It's wild, but it's legal.
Yes.
And I think, and also just because it
The
requires so much
World
skill
Series.
to get,
And with that, I'm all in. Chip style.
Zach has $10,000 riding on the World Series of Poker winning this bracket.
whenever Zach is just gonna win an argument, he's just gonna be munching,
Of course.
apples. I'm gonna generate the next one for the next matchup, the final matchup.
Yes.
The final two. We've got
Cody,
1 through 6.
I really hope it's one of yours.
I do too, man.
I
This
don't,
is now.
honestly.
I'm kind of sad.
All right, ready? I'm gonna
Yeah.
generate. Let's hope it's 1 through 30. 92.
It's close.
The
It is.
existential realization that you will only experience your own life.
My God. Marks are so long and complex.
That's a contender.
crazy.
That's a contender.
I'm just gonna generate the other one. Please be 1 through 30. 82.
We already got 82. That's the third
Let's
time.
regenerate.
Why is this bad?
27. Let's go.
Oh.
All right. This is so dumb.
The first, ladies and gentlemen, this is the first one.
Oh God! I wish
The-
this wasn't what I wrote.
The first one that
It's all right.
Cody
I'm gonna
pulled.
There's such
his.
good ones in between it too.
But what is
I'm
it?
excited
What is
to
it?
hear what it is.
Men's cologne.
Very cool. Very cool.
Oh, great! All right, men's cologne versus the existential realization that you only experience your own life. When we thought about the concept of the show, this is exactly the matchup I imagined us.
It's the
having.
matchup that
This
we were
is-
destined to have.
This is the matchup.
So let's get in. How about this? Let's dive into the more complex one first.
I agree.
So men's cologne. Yeah. What are your experiences with men's cologne?
It's been a safety net for me in so many areas of just when I've smelled bad didn't shower
Do
for
you
a
use
day.
This is a common occurrence for you.
Forgot deodorant.
Do you still use it?
Yeah, oh yeah.
Right
I
now?
have one in my car, two at my house.
Cologne, like spray.
Casually, like daily.
Not like
No.
not Axe body spray.
Wait, that
Like,
doesn't count?
I guess I would count it, but that's not what I use.
I'm thinking
But
of
you
a
use cologne on like
it's
a
in
daily
a bottle.
basis.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Okay.
3-4 times
Wow.
a day,
Crazy.
probably.
Holy crap.
All right.
It's a
You're
lot
a
of times.
cologne
a day.
man.
Spray in the morning.
That's
you know,
crazy because I've
comes up.
never smelled it.
Yeah. Does it
I
smell
forgot
like
today.
air?
Who
no, I'm wearing
scammed
it.
you? Who sold
Yeah.
you water in a fancy bottle?
Actually, here's what I will say though. I've never actually purchased my own cologne. It's always been gifts.
Yeah.
And so it's
It's
just
always
been,
been
in my
mailed to
family.
me anonymously.
Yeah, I'm an advocate.
You've
I'm an
never
advocate.
purchased cologne
I've
yet.
never
you,
either.
And I
No,
always
no, I haven't either. But
Yeah.
except
But
when
for-
I was
They
in middle
last
school.
forever. I have cologne bottles from 3-4 years, like Christmases ago.
Yes, I have one bottle of cologne.
They last
and I got it
so
in high
long.
school at some point.
Wow.
They last forever.
I
But I guess
feel-
if you don't put it on every day, then
Yeah,
you know.
for you, your bottles of cologne last
I'm
like,
like,
2 weeks.
I just drink
You
it sometimes.
uncap it and you just
My
dump.
breath smells bad.
You dump.
You know, Listerine, you don't even need that.
Yeah. You just drink it.
It's going to take me forever to type yours in, Mark.
I feel like when
the
I think
bracket.
of cologne, I think of any like sprayable scent that a man
Yeah.
puts on his body
Yeah,
to
yeah,
smell
yeah,
better.
yeah.
But I feel like cologne is mostly used by ages like 14 to 18 or maybe like 12
No.
like 12 to 18 and then people stop and then it starts again at like 45. And then you go until you're like 65. That's my headcanon of cologne because I've never thought about like using cologne.
Interesting.
There's such
I just use deodorant.
there's such a
That's all I use.
perception value of having cologne worn because if you walk into like say you are prominently just lathering it on. If you walk into a room, people are going to like smell it and they're going to say, "Wow, this guy's clean."
There's
There's
guy.
definitely
It's 50%
That's
chance.
never happened ever. That
Wow,
being said,
this guy's clean.
It definitely is I'll say this to you, it's a confidence thing for
Yeah,
sure.
yeah.
If I'm going on like a nicer date, I'll put on some cologne. And I'll be like, oh, like I smell good, and then I'll go out. But like,
Yeah.
it's not common. I'll probably use.
Yeah, like now.
Yeah.
Cody says.
I probably use
Smell
cologne
me.
The podcast.
once a month, if that. Maybe once every 2
Wow.
months.
I guess I'm curious to know. I feel like people who are listening, if I sound crazy, let me know. But I feel
think
like
you sound crazy, but it could be, I could sound crazy. Who
4
knows?
times. Do you use deodorant?
yeah, I use deodorant. Yeah.
Deodorant and cologne. What
Like
kind of
twice-
My
deodorant
guy's
do you
got
use?
Old Spice,
stacks
Old
and
Spice.
stacks. He also
My
s-
shampoo.
fills the room with Febreze before he enters.
Yeah. You just see his arm snake
I
through a
value
door.
smell. Hey, there's 5 senses, and smell is one of them.
Yeah.
It is.
I'm just knocking
A
that
great
out of the park.
realization.
Just want to put that out
You
there.
should be as aware of how you smell. You should be as aware as
how you look. Thank
As how
you.
you look. Yeah.
I
appreciate
feel
that.
like
that was sarcastic, by the way. It's not true.
Cologne to me is for people who want to make a statement with their smell. They want to walk in and they want their smell to be perceived. I don't really want my smell to be perceived in
Yeah.
any way,
I just feel
and
like you
that's where
smell-
deodorant
That's a great
eliminates
survivor strategy. You're like under the radar.
Exactly. Deodorant eliminates all like negative odor, and if somebody's super close to you, then they might smell some positive odor from your deodorant. But you're not going to walk into a room and somebody's going to be like, "That man has a scent."
Right.
You know, it's just going to be like, "That's my friend," and I don't smell him at all. And I feel like that is my goal when it comes to scent
to be
management.
smellingless.
Yes, exactly.
So cologne's a very,
Scentless.
very mixed bag.
Right.
Let's
so
move
let's
on
move on. Yeah.
to what I think is also a mixed
Explain-
bag.
Yeah, explain this.
I agree.
This is just a realization that I think all humans have, maybe in high school, maybe in middle school, which is just that like you will only ever experience your own experience. Because I think, and maybe this is like honestly, I think this might be because of like movies and video games. You sort of, there's like a subconscious feeling of like I think you, at least for me, my experience, I subconsciously sort of felt like an impermanence to my experience. Like almost like, oh, one day I might wake up and I'm a different person or whatever. Or that like, oh, eventually I'll get to see. But then one day I was like, oh no, like my life is mine. And then like, and I'll never know, you know, what it's like to be Cody or Zach or Grace or you, the viewer at home. And that was sort of crazy, just sort of the definitiveness of your own experience.
Yeah.
Is that a universal thing?
Yeah. When I think of it, I think of when I was a kid. I don't know how young, but I distinctly remember having a lot of thoughts often. I would always think like, man, wouldn't it be so cool to see the world through my friends' eyes?
Yeah.
Experience the world through Mark's eyes, Cody's eyes, their ears, all of their senses, smell,
And their
Yeah. That's the
like
big one.
So it was never, I don't think I was ever like thinking, oh, I might actually do that, or I'm gonna wake up and I'm a new person, or I have an impermanent existence. But it was a lot of just like all the time wondering, like, what are they seeing? What are they perceiving that I'm not perceiving? How is the same? How do we perceive the same thing differently? Are they perceiving me? Like, what do I look like when I'm looked at?
Yes.
That was another thing of like, I will never see myself as I appear to others. And that was always just kind of a wacky thing. It never like scared me, but it was like on my mind a lot. And then I think I got over, there was a certain point where I just kind of, those thoughts faded away and I more focused in on like my experience, my perceptions, and how to really understand those and how to like treat people better and all of that, and like just focusing on my existence in the world and like less of a wonder of others' existence and more of just like a respect for like others have different perceptions of the world, and that's beautiful and awesome, and I should honor that by respecting them and like honoring their stories and things like that. So I guess it just got more sophisticated as I
And I think a very trivial manifestation of this in younger people is a conversation that I'm pretty sure is universal, which is like the conversation about like, do other people see colors differently? And you would never know if, you know, when Cody looked at that apple, if it looks pink to him, you know, even though we both agree the word for that apple is green, like his visual spectrum could be completely different. Yeah. And that's a sort of a trivial manifestation of that wondering, of the realization that you will never know what it looks like out of his eyes.
So is that a bad thing or a good thing? Like, there's obviously pros and cons to it.
Yeah, well, that's why I said I think it's
itself is probably healthy.
I think it's a very mixed bag.
Disappointing.
It's totally healthy.
Super disappointing.
It's totally healthy to have an understanding that your experience is singular.
Yeah,
and that the way you perceive things is not necessarily how other people perceive things, and that, you know, you can try to explain your point of view to people the best you can. There's some people that will never get your point of view.
Right.
And I think that is a healthy realization. But I think, and I want to be clear, like I never as a middle schooler was like, oh, one day I will wake up and be a different person.
Yeah.
But there is, and I really think it might be like due to video games and movies, because you get to be in the perspective of all these different
That's why
people.
I'm going to fall into the metaverse as soon as it's available.
I'm going in the metaverse as soon as possible.
Yeah.
Because that actually, the metaverse, you know, removes this issue.
It does.
So
it does. It allows you to be allows you to be an anime girl on the internet for 3 hours a day.
Yeah.
Which is, I think, what we all want.
I also feel like this realization, one like possible negative to it, is I think it does take away some sense of wonder, and I think wonder is huge. People like, I think it's a key I've learned in my life to just like have wonder for things and have wonder for people's experiences and be like, wow, how is Cody experiencing this? How is Cody feeling this and thinking about this? And I feel like once you have that realization, you go deeper into just understanding yourself, you kind of fall into this, and I've done it, we've all done it, fall into this idea of like, well, Cody's going to think what he thinks. You know, he's going to perceive it how he perceives it, and I don't really need to think any differently.
Right.
So if we then disagree, it's easy for me to just fall back on like, oh, it's because of your perception that you don't agree with my like thing that I see as true, and then I see you as lesser. But if I saw you as just like, oh, you have this like really complex understanding of the world that like, what would it be like to be you? Like, can I figure that out? You know, that leads to this wonder that I think also leads to like tolerance and compassion.
Right.
Yeah, which is why men's cologne has to advance to the next step.
I agree. Thanks, Mark.
So I'm going with
that's
even though the exact thing like that moment is there's different ways to go with it.
stinky.
It's very deep. It's very human. Created some great conversation. It's something to think about.
And you're, of course, talking about that moment that you spritz that cologne.
you spritz that Axe chocolate on you. So I'm going.
Axe chocolate.
I gave Axe. No, I received Axe chocolate as the first romantic gift
Legend.
of my whole life.
Absolute legend.
I was like 13, and I was dating a girl named Eva for
Keeper.
like 2 weeks.
Absolute
Shout out to Eva.
keeper.
Yeah, and she gave me like a bag of Sour Patch Kids and some Axe chocolate.
Legend. Savage.
I ate the Axe chocolate and I spread the I melted the Sour Patch Kids and I spread that goo on my body. I'm going with the existential one for my vote.
I'm also probably going to go with that. I want to give Zach an aneurysm by going with men's cologne, but I think it's the existential realization.
Cody,
right.
what's your vote? Just for fun.
Yeah, that's a fun one. Actually, I really liked the discussion that was had regarding this depth, but I think men's cologne.
Cody is taking men's cologne out of his pocket currently.
Spritzing
it on the computer.
Just because it was mine. And
On
I
the
need to put it-
camera
I need to apply
lenses.
Actually, though, great. That was fun. That was a good comparison. So our final four at this point is Batman, A Robust Welfare State, The World Series of Poker, and the X. You can see which ones are Marks easily.
I don't know if that's true.
That's a realization that you'll only experience your own life.
Whose was Batman?
Mine.
It's
Mark?
yours again.
Yeah.
So
So
do we-
don't you look like a fool?
1 for Zach and 3 for Mark on here. All right, so we're going to go through these 4, 2 more matchups, and then we'll decide the Apple Gobbler, the worst of the 8 that were selected.
And then the battle for the
argument.
top 10.
Yeah.
So it's first Batman versus A Robust Welfare State in this matchup.
Man.
So, yeah, one thing I want to say about Batman, I'm confused. He does not kill people.
He does not.
In the new movie, in the new trailer that is like being developed, it looks like he's killing people.
Okay. We're about to launch into something. I think this next movie might be the only movie where he consciously doesn't kill people, because in the movies, because in the comics and the cartoon, Batman not killing people is like sacred text. He does not kill people. Like occasionally it will happen as like a big event in the comics.
He always just like beats him up.
He always beats somebody. He does not kill people. And in the movies, they have always treated that rule somewhat cavalier. In Batman 89, he like massacres people.
Cool.
In the Snyder films, he definitely murders people. Nolan tried a bit more for him not to kill people, but there's definitely instances where I was like, Batman really put people at risk there, didn't he?
Yeah.
Where he's like, destroying a train line and stuff.
Causing a lot of damage.
If I know Matt Reeves is a director, and I really sort of researched his work after his work on Planet of the Apes, which is a great trilogy.
I love
I
those
really
movies.
think this Batman looks brutal. I do not think he's going to kill people. So I respect the move
He's
for
just
that.
going to really teach him a lesson.
Yeah, I think he's just going to
He's a-
scold them.
Yes. He
a good
actually
guy.
has his master's in teaching in
True.
biology education.
Yeah.
But before we dive in too much, I just have something. I have an argument I want to lay out. So let's think of Gotham City. Okay, Gotham City. It's analogous to New York, right? It's a city riddled by crime, corruption, poverty.
Yeah.
They've tried education. They've tried healthcare.
He's doing air quotes for audio
Stamps.
listeners.
Did this help the people? No. Do you know what helped the people of Gotham? A billionaire brutally beating the crap out of criminals. So Batman did more for Gotham than a robust welfare state. That's my argument.
Are you explaining Batman is just like a really rich cop?
I'm explaining Batman as Michael Bloomberg, actually.
Michael Bloomberg is stronger.
He's way
physically
stronger
and
than
mentally
Batman.
than Batman. Did Batman ever outlaw big gulps?
Big gulps.
That
So,
could have saved
I
Gotham
said
City.
that not killing people is sort of sacred text in Batman literature. No big gulps is like the second rule. It's right below not killing people.
No big gulps. No big gulps. Batman, man.
I think it's easy for me.
Why? Explain.
I can't wait.
It's got to be men's cologne. Batman
Bring
just
it back
walks
in. He
into a room and you can
smells
smell him. Yeah.
He smells good. Great argument about, but also just because everything about Batman is exciting to me. We played what game?
Epic.
What game was it on? Was it the
Marvel.
Oh, are you talking about Arkham? Arkham Asylum?
Arkham
Yeah.
Asylum, greatest game I think I've melee played ever. So
What was that word?
I didn't.
Melee?
I
Was it
didn't
a melee
catch it.
game?
Melee?
Melee?
Yeah.
Oh boy, I've been out for a while.
What a loser!
I've been out
Loser
for it.
alert! Loser alert!
Arguments going downhill. I think it's just everything about Batman excites me.
Nothing about a robust welfare state excites me. Could Batman exist if a robust welfare state was in place before he came to power?
According to Tucker Carlson, no.
He would solve other
No,
problems.
he couldn't exist.
He could
without
solve.
robust-
Is Batman interested in solving other issues aside from crime, like
They've
climate
really-
change?
They've really written that into his character in recent years. He definitely wasn't in like the 80s and 90s, but contemporary
if-
Batman is concerned about like climate change.
Yeah. So if a robust welfare state existed, Batman would spend his allocation of funds to helping the earth in other ways.
Crime
I
would
may
run
shift
rampant.
I shift my vote to a robust welfare
And he would
state.
just,
Yeah.
My vote is on a robust welfare state.
Batman is exciting. And a robust welfare state isn't exciting.
it's not sexy.
But how
Batman?
unexciting it
Very
is
sexy.
often leveraged against the welfare state. By not caring about the welfare state, it really enables powerful actors to wage
Yeah.
war on it.
Yeah.
So
It needs
so
more
Cody, really,
care.
you honed in on a weakness of the welfare state, which is that it is not exciting. It makes it easier to
Maybe if
dismantle
Batman
it.
could promote the welfare state, we would all win.
If we had TV ads of Batman just talking about how we need
Anything
universal
politically.
health care,
Yeah.
it would pass.
I think Batman is like the greatest counter example to like laissez-faire capitalism you could find, where it's just like he has so much money that he could be investing in like inner city schools. And he's just like, I actually need a new grappling hook, so I can rip a robber that took like $15,000 from a bank out of a windowsill and shatter his spine.
the construction project for his cave.
Yeah, literally
Everything he
could have
owns.
fed everyone in the city for a month.
no. It's
Nah,
free
dude.
choice. And he worked hard. And he got
worked
to make
hard.
those choices
gonna
to
bring
build
us
a
back,
cave.
yeah.
And Batman also, Bruce Wayne literally inherited that money from his parents. He did not earn that money in any way.
Well, okay.
His parents
okay.
died, Mark.
Yeah. And he worked hard to get over that trauma and then also to become a good businessman.
Harder than
True,
you.
he makes deals.
Harder than me? Yes, absolutely.
hell yeah.
I'm
Great
a little
deals.
wimpy
Everybody.
baby compared to him.
Batman.
What do you lean towards?
I lean towards Batman because it excites me.
It's cool.
It's sexier. It excites me more.
Okay.
I want a robust welfare
I
state.
do too.
If I could have that and have Batman go away and never have existed, I would pick a robust welfare state.
Yeah.
For Batman to not
Great.
be a thing. But Batman is
stoked about
it.
really cool.
I'm gonna vote for a robust welfare state because I think it's the right thing to do. But boy, is Batman cool.
Yeah.
He's way cooler than the welfare. Like if I had to choose, if I could get Matt Reeves to direct a movie about Batman or a movie about Bernie Sanders, I'd probably choose Batman every time. But a crossover would be nice.
A Bernie biopic would be pretty good.
That'd be sick. I'd watch it.
Yeah.
Watch the crap out of it.
Who would play him? Dwayne The Rock Johnson?
That's a great pick. I feel like it's almost cliche to say, what's his name? Why does it escape me? Curb Your Enthusiasm.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Wait, to play who?
Bernie.
I missed that. Oh, to play
Bernie Sanders.
Dwayne The Rock Johnson. Yeah, that sounds right.
Who is the Curb Your Enthusiasm?
I
Very well-known name. His name is.
It completely escapes me.
We'll get. Yeah, it escapes me too.
But he's a cliche.
Larry David.
Larry David, because he's played him on SNL. But like the resemblance is striking.
Yeah.
I bet you could honestly. I think Anthony Hopkins could probably pull off like an older Bernie Sanders.
Yeah.
Like amazingly.
Definitely.
So yeah.
Man, Anthony Hopkins is a
But
great actor.
I mean, what can't you pull off, Zach?
He can't.
There's nothing.
There's nothing he can't pull off. He's one of the greatest
He's actually
living actors.
cast as Batman in the Matt Reeves film.
Yeah. Cody, what are you picking?
I'm gonna move forward with Batman. It was the initial
Yeah.
thought I had. I liked the little bit we had of if a robust welfare state existed, then Batman could be spent doing other things.
He could.
But Batman is sexy.
Because a robust welfare state, there's many studies that show food stamps, healthcare, Social Security, stuff like this. It lowers crime. It does. There's a constant link to that. So it really could put Batman out of a job. That being said, the Batmobile, though, so sick.
It's so sick.
So sick.
Also, he has the word bat in
Flames
his
in the bat.
name.
Oh my god.
Bats are cool as an animal.
A car with a jet engine with flames coming out of the back. Sick.
Way cooler
So
than
All right,
Cool.
so
Equal education.
the World Series of Poker
So good.
versus the exponential realization that you will only experience your own life.
You know when I had that realization? When I was watching the WSP final table.
Well, you were watching them play poker, and you're like, "Ah, if only I knew
Wait,
what was in his
actually-
hand. If only I was him for a second.
And I did because they show you. It's very nice. It's very simple TV graphics that you see what's in everybody's hand.
Right.
And you can kind of play their hands and see what you would do.
Right.
And then they make moves. And then you think to yourself, would I have made that move? And, you know, that is linked to this existential
Yeah.
realization.
Gosh.
But
Just like the last one.
I love
There's
the
a
World
link.
Series of Poker.
When was like a moment in your life that you realized you were incapable of doing something?
When I tried to win at the final table last year, I lost first round because I
Boston
thought we
Rob.
were playing jacks.
I thought you were gonna say when you raced Mark and a giant.
Yeah, I
but then you
felt
did
I
win.
was incapable of moving my shoulder without searing pain. That was Let's answer this
that
question.
question is related to the sort of
Yeah,
existential
right.
realization.
Because I feel like at that moment you realize that someone is capable of doing something you're not capable of doing, and in that moment, you'll not experience what they're experiencing.
I think I didn't fully have an appreciation for that until like high school. Because I as a middle schooler, I definitely sort of was under the school of thought where it's like, oh, if like right now I committed myself to like if I committed myself every day to being like the greatest hockey player in the world, I could still make the NHL. If I like committed all hours of the day to doing it, I really didn't have an appreciation for no. There is a genetic lottery component. There is a financial component. You need to get your parents to get you all this equipment. You get them to practice.
there's
You
a
also
luck
needed
and a
to
time component.
you
Malcolm
needed to
Gladwell
start earlier.
Outliers style.
Yeah.
Have you ever read that book?
Yeah, actually,
super good.
I listened to the audiobook of it
So good.
last month. It's a great book.
And so I sort of had that realization where it's like your spawn point and what you what you spawn with materially, genetically, whatever.
Yeah.
Socially,
Opportunity
just
is
opportunity. It determines a lot.
I think the first time I realized this, and I can pinpoint this moment in life, because I was sleeping over at your house, Mark. I think it was like first grade, And we
a
were
lot
like,
of great discussions
Yeah.
happened in first grade. in my
right,
house.
of course. And that's when I had this realization.
Yeah.
We were like, I don't even remember. We were just chatting. It was bedtime, you know.
We often did
if
that.
Barb knew we were up, she'd be
We would
ticked.
be in the bonus room.
Yep.
We'd sleep parallel to
Parallel
each other
to each
on
other.
the floor.
Right, on the floor, facing the TV,
Hell yeah.
talking, you know, just
Playing
about
Lego
whatever.
Star Wars,
and I was
gaming.
like, Mark, I think I want to be a baseball player. And then you said, do you know how many people want to be a baseball player?
So awesome.
And I was like,
That
man.
sounds like
He
me.
was so himself.
Man, that is
As a
hard to hear
9-year-old,
from
yeah.
me at 9.
Do you know how many people
was
want to be
like-
a baseball player? I've
was
committed
like-
my first 9 years of life, and I'm not even close, Cody. You haven't even started.
At that point, I was playing for like 5 years. You know, I would
Yeah.
consider myself an amateur professional at that moment in time.
funny that you
and
had
then-
that reaction.
Yeah, and I was
Mark.
like,
I wish I didn't dissuade you because I feel like at that point you totally could have.
Were there moments in your life where you were like a big dreamer?
Yeah.
In the sense of like,
yeah.
I'm going to be this.
Yes.
Because like in middle school, I remember in 5th grade filling out a career, like we had this packet of a bunch of careers and we had to like color them a certain color depending on how much we wanted to be that career.
And you
I
just wrote in NFL, Pro Bowl.
I colored none of them in except for professional athlete, and I
Legend.
covered that green.
And what were you imagining? The
I was
sport being?
imagining that I was going to play football. I was going to be like
Legend.
a wide receiver. And
Right.
at that time, I think I was like 4'8" and like 60 pounds. And I played football for like one day, and someone tackled me, and it scared me so much that I quit. So that was my.
so then I went back and wrote in like substitute teacher or something.
Too much stress at being a teacher. Sub though, I got it covered.
Okay. Do we have a vote for this? We got to move on.
We haven't talked about World Series of
gotta
Oh,
Poker.
move on.
I want to say, I wanted to be the first man on Mars until like high school.
Oh, yeah. What was your big dream? It was
I wanted to be the first man on Mars until like high school. That was what I wanted to do.
Right. Yeah. I remember a lot of conversations about just aerospace in general.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then they pick anybody.
And
that's not.
and this is 1,000% true. What I'm about to tell you. I was thrown off because the NASA had like projected that we would land on Mars in like 2018.
Yeah.
And they projected that, and I was like, well, I'm gonna miss it.
Yeah.
And I was like, well, I want to be like the 4th person on Mars. Like, who gives a crap?
No way.
Who
Yeah.
gives a crap? I was like, I want to be.
You won't be remembered.
Yeah, dude, being the first person
You'll be
on
remembered.
Mars is like, you're like the most famous person in human history, as far as I'm concerned. Like, it's you and Julius Caesar. You're going to the end. And so I was like, that would be sick. But I was like, 2018, can't do it. Can't do it.
And he left his dream and he looked across the classroom, and on the other side at that desk sat Elon Musk as a young boy, gave him a wink. And he knew that Elon was going to work harder than everybody else.
By the way, my vote is not for the World Series of Poker.
Oh, but the World
My
Series of
feelings
Poker.
haven't changed.
The World Series of Poker is something that anyone can do.
But here's a complaint. Here's a complaint against the World Series. I think to me it feels like an attribute of a more complex game. Like it feels like, because the entire game is like the fundamentals of bluffing versus
when to fold,
reading, bluffing
when to
and reading,
raise,
right?
when to...
It's bluffing and reading, and that's in like every game, but there's also other things. Like bluffing and reading is also like the fundamentals of like Super Smash Brothers, but you're doing other things as well. And so that's a complaint I have with poker
Yeah.
in general. I did have a great time playing poker
Yeah.
for the first time. But I don't think I would watch it because I think there's other things to
Yeah.
watch with more going on.
Yeah, poker is it holds a special place in my heart sentimentally, but it's a lower tier game. I mean, I would pick a lot of games over poker unless I'm playing with like my dad and a bunch of extended family.
And this is specifically watching. Like,
yeah, this is watching.
yeah.
Watching, it's a totally different experience to playing it. Yeah. And when I think of watching World Series of Poker, I just like get very warm inside, and it's really great. And I feel like it's I don't know. There's a special simplicity there for me that's not there in the existential realization. I love the discussion, and I think it's like a lot deeper and a lot more human. But there's a special, simple simplicity inside of my being for World Series of Poker, and that is where my vote is going.
I'm going for the existential realization.
Gosh, I'm gonna find myself in these situations more, and I need to prep for
That's
this.
because me and Zach are mortal foes.
Yeah, we are.
I am the Batman, and he's
And I'm the welfare
Riddler.
state.
I'm gonna take my vote for the existential realization that you'll only experience in your life.
Oh my gosh! And he says it like a coward.
For that moment at my house during a sleepover.
Yeah, honestly, and I think that provided great insight.
Before we move on, just while we're on deep conversations we had as very young individuals, a conversation I think of.
How many times do you think you could cut a worm up and it would still live?
True.
That's a deep conversation I had.
A conversation like this that I thought of I think of like at least once a year is we were on the bus in like the 5th grade and we were having a conversation about are humans animals?
Who is this?
You and me.
Okay.
We were having a conversation about are humans animals? And your position was no, they weren't animals. And
Perfect.
I remember internally,
I stand by it.
Because we use cologne and animals don't.
Internally, like being so frustrated. Because I was like laying out these great arguments. I was like Zach trying to convince you that Mittens should be the apple gobbler.
Yeah,
it was just
an
like
expert.
nothing I could do. And so I think of that all the time.
Were we on a field trip or something?
Yes, we
yeah,
were.
we were at like a zoo.
Mrs. Glassenbauer might have been her
That
name?
was 3rd grade.
That's
'Cause
so-
you transferred 4th and 5th. So
yeah, so it was 3rd grade. It was
Yeah.
3rd grade.
I love the idea of your two's relationship as children being like Cody was just this like absolutely overconfident dreamer who was so committed.
And I was a 38-year-old
And you were a
man.
38-year-old man who worked at H&R Block and was
Yeah.
like, do you know how hard it is to become a professional baseball player?
Magic isn't real.
Yeah. You don't think humans are animals, you're an idiot, and I don't have time for you.
And our friendship thrived.
Yeah.
It really did.
All right, so at this moment and this point of the show, we determine
The
worst
apple
thing.
gobbler.
Perfect. Yeah.
Thank you.
Oh, I'm so excited to determine the apple gobbler.
Yes, me too. This has been kind of there hasn't been a ton of bumps in this
Yeah.
one. This has been kind of smooth and it went deep.
Yeah.
And it just like last
I
time.
love going deep.
Yeah, it was great.
Yeah.
This is what you get when you listen to Apples to Orangutans. You never know what you're going to
never
get.
know.
And you get a whole spectrum of things.
So the 4 things that we can choose. Sorry, I'm not transitioning. That was great. I agree.
Yeah, Zach, don't freak out. Like that was fine.
yell
that
at
was
me,
fine.
Zach.
I'm freaking out. What are the 4 things, Cody?
Coke.
Bad.
Diet Coke.
Okay, Zach, you have to go.
Becoming too old to go trick or treating. Interspecies animal friendships or men's cologne.
Man, Diet Coke sucks.
It really does suck.
Diet Coke sucks.
It really does suck.
It doesn't give like what is. There's no good there's no lasting good that comes from Diet Coke.
Hey.
It's either bad to drink, you either don't like it, or if you like it, it's forwarding a drug addiction and it is like lowering your life expectancy. There's no positive that's coming from Diet Coke. It is just like
There's definitely
a
people-
capitalist liquid that is harming people, and it tastes bad and it has chemicals in it, and it just drink water. Just try to drink
You should
water
drink water.
and try to be awake without a drug. I'm sorry. Diet Coke is forwarding the greatest drug addiction, and it's just not it for me.
It's so passionate.
I am
love
kind
it.
of. I keep it.
I share
keep
his
it.
sympathies with the Diet Coke.
I keep it close to the chest, but I am kind of passionate about the whole caffeine thing. I just think it's a bad thing for humanity, but I don't.
What can you do?
I can't. Yeah. What can I do? Arguments are useless.
Because I'll say this: cologne, I like it. It's a good thing to have. There's good that comes with cologne. Animal friendships, love them.
Yeah, they're
I think they
very
make the world a
sweet.
better place. So I think we're down to becoming too old to trick or treating or Diet Coke. I think that becoming too old to go trick or treating is a necessary stage of life.
Yes.
I don't
Imagine,
think.
imagine being the only 23-year-old trick or treating in your
Yeah.
neighborhood.
I don't think Diet Coke is necessary in any capacity.
no.
In fact, it has an easy replacement, which is Coke.
Yeah.
Drink Coke and Cola.
Yeah.
I feel like that person in Survivor who's on the bottom of the chopping block and it just says, I'll vote for whoever. You
Yeah.
know? Like, I'll vote for
You don't
whoever
have a
you
strong
tell me.
preference?
As long as it's not me. As long as it's not men's cologne. As long as it's not men's cologne.
As long as it's not men's cologne. No, actually, Diet Coke is the worst thing on this list for sure.
Oh gosh.
Easy vote.
Amazing. Hey, that was great.
It
We all
would have been.
agreed.
It would have been fiery. I feel like because Diet Coke, you either really don't like it or
Yeah,
it is
it'd be
your
fire if Will was
lifeblood.
here.
Yeah, it would. If Will was here, we'd have a fight.
So the harder.
The
harder
apple gobbler?
determination- Yeah,
Again, apple gobbler is Diet Coke.
Yeah.
Gobble it. It's gobbling.
gobble.
That's absolutely gobbled.
Batman or the long one.
The existential realization that you will only ever experience in
Batman.
life.
So at this point, Batman has defeated Diet Coke, which was a terrible thing.
Yeah, that one was easy.
It defeated a robust welfare state, and now it's going up against the existential
Existential.
Sorry, it's written in an incorrect way on the screen, and also I am becoming illiterate. It is facing the existential realization that you will only ever experience your own life. Batman's really going up against some like
Heavy hitters.
big philosophical hitters.
Yeah.
After beating Diet Coke.
It's true. So I guess here's an opening question. Is there anything philosophical or thematic about Batman that gives you the sort of depth of thought that existential realization can provide you?
Hope.
Hope.
It's hope for me.
Explain
I
that.
want to elaborate.
Yeah,
Paint me a
He's
picture.
in Gotham, man. I mean, nothing is good about Gotham. It's scary. It's a dark place. There's a lot of crime and murder and mischief.
I want a Batman movie that's just about like the
suburbs.
suburbs
Yeah.
of Gotham. Yeah, that's exactly what I'm saying.
Yeah.
A little bit higher. You know, it just looks like not a lot of people are doing very well there. And Batman,
They're out of White Claw at the barbecue. I need to make a run to the store. To Walgreens.
Jan put way too much tomato sauce in the sloppy joes.
Luckily, I just started a Walgreens membership.
Jan,
I have so many
this
points.
sloppy joe mix is way too sweet.
It's way too spicy for me.
Jan, it's soaking the buns.
We
gotta get more.
Sweet Baby Ray's, not sweet and spicy Baby Ray's.
We're running out of King's Hawaiian rolls, Jan.
This is Batman in the suburbs. Come on.
Batman. Oh, you shine a light in the sky and he shows up. That's hope.
That's hope.
That's hope, baby.
You were like drowning in something, and then your gasp for air was that explanation. You shine a light in the sky, and he's there. It's hope. How does he always see it? Is he always looking up? Is he always looking at the sky, or does he have people that watch it for him?
I bet Alfred would call him. If
Is Alfred
saw it.
always up?
Dude, he probably pays
I
somebody
don't
full
know
time.
when Alfred sleeps.
Batman's intern just looks in the sky at
Batman
night.
obviously, like, he's up at night all the time.
Yeah, what do you
right?
think Robin's doing? He's checking the skies, man.
Robin's job is he's an intern. He's an unpaid intern.
11 to midnight, he's looking in the
He's on a
skies.
computer monitor.
Refresh.
Yeah, refreshing. It's like
He's
one.
on GothamSkywatch.net refreshing the page.
360 vertical camera.
Because I read
And he just sends Batman a Slack message when there is one in the sky.
He gets it on his Apple Watch.
because I asked you that question, Cody, about is there anything that sort of makes you think as deeply as this? Because College killed my desire to read for fun. I used to read for fun quite frequently in high school. Went to college, stopped reading for fun, and I'm out of college and I haven't read since. And I want to get back into reading. The thing that almost got me back into reading was I saw a book at Barnes and Noble called The Philosophy of Batman. I was like, oh, this is interesting. And I skimmed through, and there's a lot of different pages. And
It is a book.
It is a book.
There are a lot of pages.
None of them popped open, so I threw them in the trash. Yeah. But I mean, I think there's a lot of things to explore about Batman. I think issues of identity. Like, who is he? Is he Bruce Wayne or is he Batman? Because, like, I think at this point in his life, he almost identifies as Batman, as opposed to like the billionaire is almost the persona. Because like this thing he does at night is like his work. Like, this is more real to him than like managing his company. So I think those issues of identity are fun. I think his relationship to like the police department is fun. He's like a third party actor, but he's almost like integrated into the state. And it's almost cliche at this point because like every superhero thing tackles it.
Yeah.
But the idea of like
that concept
of justice and like of killing people, and does that make you inherently a criminal regardless of purpose? I mean, that idea
beating him up
is now like integrated into all
that dude destroys the
superhero
city.
literature.
But Batman was like kind of the OG when it comes to superheroes.
Yeah.
And like how that theme is explored in like The Dark Knight, the Christopher Nolan film. So
let me ask you
great.
this:
on the boat scene
boat scene is good.
Gosh,
the amount of movies that they release dilute the meaning and value and power of Batman.
It is 1,000% true. I think Batman, because I think Batman of superheroes explores all these themes in the most interesting way.
Yeah.
That being said, a lot of his thunder is taken by just the number of heroes out there.
Yeah.
That being said, Marvel heroes, I feel like have no problem killing people at all. Like that's never presented as a philosophical problem for them. Like Captain America will just like shoot you in the head.
Yeah, and they'll like level buildings.
They will.
Right. Well, in all superhero movies, there's a crazy amount of
They'll all do
damage.
They'll all do property damage, which to me is like very Marxist of them to like not value property over human life.
Yes,
and
Batman in the suburbs would come after them. Batman in the suburbs would come after them.
Yeah, this is good. Man.
I think that the existential realization, I think if you really get into a conversation about it, it has a lot of value, as we've explored on this podcast. I think that Batman has immediate value for a lot of people.
So sick.
A lot more people than the existential realization. I feel like if you asked somebody like, hey, what do you think about the existential realization that you only experience your own life? They'd like think you were crazy and say like, I want to go back to watching the Chiefs, you know?
But if you ask someone about Batman, they'll go,
yeah,
he's so sick.
yeah, it's
a freaking car with a jet.
Yeah, people have opinions about Batman.
Sick.
People have like childhood memories about Batman. Some people are like super into Batman, and it's a very big part of their life. It brings a lot of people joy. It creates a lot of great conversation, a lot of good lore. So I think Batman is overall, it maybe not at its core the most valuable, but I think the most like presently and noticeably valuable to people. And I think as even though I'm not like the biggest Batman fan, like I haven't seen a lot of the movies, I'm kind of making my decision based on like how the public views Batman. So I think, which, you know, there's no kind of system we're using for this. Sometimes I'm going to do my personal opinion, but this one, I think Batman is very important to a lot of people, and it brings a lot of joy.
That is so interesting because I think our positions are completely switched from what people would think they are. Because I know for a fact you're not the biggest Batman fan.
No, I'm not.
I am quite a big Batman fan. And I'm going to go with the existential realization that you only ever experience your own life. Because I just think that realization is so foundational to our relationship to like society as a whole and how we interact with other humans and like sort of the golden rule, right? That like treat people as you want to be treated. Because the idea is like, you don't really know other people's experience, but you're foundationally rooted in your own. So if you treat people how you want to be treated, you're golden. And there's more complex versions of that principle in like everything we do. And so, I love Batman as a character. Like genuinely, he might be my favorite superhero. But I think that realization is like just so huge to like the human experience over like thousands of years, which leaves us in a classic situation, which is
conundrum.
Cody deciding every
This
round.
is amazing, and I actually like this one because this is for the top tang.
This
This
is a lot of
is-
power.
It's a lot of power,
is
a lot of
huge.
control.
This is a big
I
one.
He's
control
gonna
the bracket.
veto both of them and
right
go with
now.
men's
Men's
cologne.
cologne.
Yeah, so I think this is a standstill. We move on to the next show. Is that?
Yeah.
Man, you guys both brought very good points up, but I kind of have to go with what's in my heart.
So epic.
There's a scene in a movie called the Lego Movie. I'm sure you've seen it.
That
Oh,
movie
I've seen
is
it.
a masterpiece.
There's
great.
one scene in that movie that just makes me so content. It makes me stoked that cinema is a thing. You know the scene where Batman's trying to open up this lever and he's throwing his boomerangs, his batarangs, one could say. And he misses like 100 times and he hits it and then the punchline is, got it on the first try. I laughed so hard in the theater when I saw that. You have no idea.
So just so everyone,
Can you format the existential realization that you will experience your own life into something like that?
No.
Into something as entertaining.
But
and-
Batman can
and
give it
as-
to you, baby.
But Batman as a Lego can give me that. Give me that.
I
joy.
can't make a Lego
I
of
just
the
want
existential realization.
everyone at home to be aware that the top tang is about to be decided based on a
Lego
scene from the Lego movie.
Absolutely, as every important decision
Decided by
should be.
Will Arnett's vocal performance
Yes.
as the Batman.
I'm
in the
on
Lego
board.
I
movie.
reference that scene so often in my life.
Yeah, way more than you reference not understanding other people's experience.
Also, Mark ruined my dreams about being a baseball player. So Batman
Got
is going to be the top tang. in episode
Batman!
2. Number 2, baby.
Wow.
2. Batman is the top tang. Diet Coke as the apple
Yeah.
gobbler.
And now, if you excuse us, we have to go get White Claw from Walgreens.
I really gotta talk to Jan about that sloppy Joe
We gotta
recipe.
never do the Batman
It's gotta be
voice
better. This
ever
was
again.
Bill's first time in the new yard. I did so much work.
Tune in next time for a full podcast of this voice.
Thank you, everybody, for listening to Apples to Orangutans. See you later. Goodbye.
There's a lot of uncertainty in this pod, but one thing's for sure, the real top tang is you. So thanks for being here, and we hope to see you next time. Now go tell your friends about us and subscribe wherever you get your podcasts. Keep swinging, Tang Nation.